Well, the countdown is on for the arrival of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and baby Prince George. They'll be here in exactly 2 weeks. The Windsors have always charmed us when they've dropped in for a visit, as they've toured Australia now more than 50 times. By air and by sea, the British royal family has been making the long journey to Australia for more than 100 years. Prince Alfred, son of Queen Victoria, was the first to set foot on Australian soil, followed by Prince George and his wife Mary in 1901 to open the first federal parliament. Edward, Prince of Wales, was the next to visit in 1920, thanking Australians for their assistance during World War I. And 7 years later, the Duke and Duchess of York arrived at Sydney Harbour, attracting a crowd of more than 1 million. But it wasn't until 1954 that Australia would receive its first visit by a reigning monarch, when Queen Elizabeth and the Duke of Edinburgh steamed into Sydney Harbour.
I am proud indeed to be at the head of a nation that has achieved so much.
She's the Queen of Australia, and she realises it's a tremendous honour and a responsibility, and so whenever she can, she goes there. And at least, I mean, every 2 years.
Every visit has been rich in symbolism, such as Her Majesty's message to the outback on the Flying Doctor Network.
And indeed to all who live and work in the great outback of Australia.
She's captured worldwide attention at landmark events.
The Queen opened the Sydney Opera House, you know, and they were, all the royal family, lots of them went there in 80. I went 3 times there in 1988, the bicentennial. The Queen was there, and Prince Charles was there, Prince Andrew and his new wife Fergie.
And he's always turning on her royal charm for the crowds.
The way the last visit went in 2011, I think the people turned out in their thousands. I've never seen crowds like that for the Queen.
I think she loves the reaction from the community of Australia.
Paparazzo turned Lord Mayor Darren Lyons has followed the royals all over the world with his camera lens.
I think that's a well-known secret in Buckingham Palace. Is any chance that they can get to Australia, they will come to Australia.
In 1979, one Aussie girl made Charles feel particularly welcome at a Perth beach. 4 years later, he returned with Diana, Princess of Wales, and their baby son, Prince William.
That tour, we call it the Love Tour. The most memorable aspect of that tour, and I'll tell everybody this, was the fact that Charles and Diana couldn't keep their hands off each other. It was really amazing. And they looked at each other like they wanted to go and rip the clothes off each other. This is in Maitland in New South Wales, a very, very hot day. This is on the 83 tour as well. And Diana's wilting in the heat, and he's just put his hand on her hand and said something lovely to her. And it's obviously she's responding, but they absolutely adored each other on this tour. I mean, they couldn't keep their hands off each other.
But in recent years, the baton has been passed to their sons, Princes William and Harry.
They love here. They love getting on the back of a horse. They love getting to the outback. They love playing polo. They can do everything that the aristocrats do and the royals do, but they're actually doing it in a real life, let's get our hands dirty situation.
And in just a couple of weeks, we'll meet the Duchess of Cambridge and baby Prince George for the very first time.
This tour is probably the biggest ever as far as travelling media goes, and that's how you really judge it. There's 60 travelling British media on this tour. For her, it's going to be an experience because of the Aussie people. I mean, they're just going to turn out in their thousands. I mean, if it's anything like Diana at the Sydney Opera House, I mean, it was just massive. There'll be a great reception from the Aussie people.
Yeah, just 2 weeks to go until there's all kinds of crazy. Thank you, Carl. And on tomorrow's show, how Australia will benefit from the Royal Tour thanks to priceless tourism promotion.
We're going to see the world's eyes on Australia for 9 days as the Royals go to some of the iconic destinations in Australia. That's great marketing, and it's marketing money that we couldn't buy.
It really is having a beneficial effect for the royal family as much as it is for tourism to both Australia and the UK.
We've got that and a whole lot more on the Royals on tomorrow's show.